Ever wonder where your apple juice comes from? Every year, an unbelievable 800 million liters are produced globally. Interestingly, China leads the pack, producing the most apples worldwide, with the United States, Poland, Italy, and France also contributing significant amounts. But how is apple juice made on such a massive scale? Let's uncover the secrets behind the factory process that turns these fruits into your beloved juice. Did you know that apple juice has been a favorite since the very beginning of civilization? Ancient peoples enjoyed their fermented apple beverages, and over the years, apple juice has become a cherished drink all over the world. It's not just a drink, it's a heritage that has been passed down through generations. The journey of apple juice begins with the harvest, a crucial time for juice production. About 90% of it happens during the October harvest season. As early as September, when apples are just bursting with flavor, they're harvested in a variety of ways. One efficient method involves a machine that grips the tree trunk with a hydraulic arm and gives it a robust shake, causing about 60 kilograms of apples to fall. Though many apples for eating are still picked by hand, this machine can process an impressive 100 tons of apples in a single day. This is how local farms supply factories with a staggering yearly total of 100,000 tons of apples. During the peak months from September to November, fruit juice companies are buzzing with activity. Within 24 hours of being picked and delivered to processing centers, the transformation of apples into juice begins. Upon arrival at the factory, trucks filled with fresh apples come in every hour. It's crucial that these apples are fresh and of the highest quality. At the factory, the apples are then transported on conveyor belts to an inspection area. Here, 90 tons of recycled water helps sort the apples into 4 water channels, moving against the conveyor belt to effectively separate leaves and unwanted debris. Any apples that are damaged or don't meet the quality standards are discarded in this initial inspection phase. To make delicious and healthy apple juice, it's crucial to start with fresh, high-quality apples. Every year, the factory turns 40,000 tons of these apples into juice. First up, there's a thorough inspection where apples are sorted by size, color, ripeness, and overall quality. This step makes sure only the best apples are used for juice, while those not making the cut are set aside for things like compote. After sorting, the apples get an extra cleaning to take off any dirt, dust, and potential surface gunk. This is done using a water wash in a totally automated modern setup. The apples are then briefly stored in silos for a few hours. Keeping them at just the right temperature and humidity is key to keeping them fresh. Before moving on, there's another round of quality checks, like testing acidity and sugar levels to figure out the apple's quality and taste profile. Next, the apples head to a washing station. Here, they roll through brushes and water to get a thorough clean, removing any remaining dirt or debris. After this, the apples are disinfected to get rid of harmful germs like bacteria and fungi that might be on the skin. A final rinse with clean water ensures they're all set for the next part of making apple juice. Once the apples are washed and disinfected, they're moved to a spot where they can dry off. This step is important to get rid of any extra water that might water down the juice later on. After drying, the apples are sent to the peeling station. Here, specialized machines with sharp blades peel off the apple skins. This is a key step because the skin has more insoluble stuff and can make the juice taste bitter. Peeling ensures the juice is clear and tasty. Next, the apples go through a chopping process. They're cut into small pieces by a powerful blender that's got a grinding plate with 28 serrated blades. These blades spin super fast at 1,500 rotations per minute, chopping the apples just right. To make the mash even better for juicing, a natural enzyme called pectinase is added. This enzyme breaks down the apple's cell structure, which means more juice gets released. During this chopping process, the inedible parts like cores are taken out. This makes sure only the juiciest part of the apple, the pulp, is used for making juice. Then the apple pieces are moved to soaking tanks where they stay for about 60 to 90 minutes. They travel through 120 meters of pipes into 6 big tanks, each holding 50 tons. Here, the applesauce gets a final squeeze in a strong hydraulic press. In this step of the process, the hydraulic press fills up with 9 tons of apple mash and squeezes the juice out through 288 filter handles. These filters catch the apple skins, seeds, and stems, ensuring that every drop of juice is extracted from the crushed apples and separating the solid bits from the pulp. When the juice is pressed out, it's still a bit cloudy because it has tiny, solid particles floating in it. The leftover apple mash, including the bits of skin and seeds, isn't wasted. It's used to make methane, a cleaner, eco-friendly energy source. Impressively, this apple mash can generate enough energy to power 1,000 homes for a year. Next, the freshly squeezed apple juice flows through pipes into storage tanks, leaving behind the unwanted apple parts. At this point, the juice is cleaner and clearer than it was right after crushing, as it's now been separated more effectively from the pulp and fibers. To make it even clearer, the juice goes through a filtration process to remove the smallest particles. Quality control is super important throughout this entire process. Samples of juice are taken to check its quality and make sure everything's going as it should. Sometimes they might tweak the juice a bit to get the perfect taste and qualities. This could involve adding acids to keep the apple's natural color and flavor, or adjusting sugar and acid levels to get just the right taste. To make sure our apple juice stays fresh and delicious for as long as possible, we add just the right preservatives. After we've crushed and separated it, we keep the juice in cool tanks. This isn't just to keep it chilled, it's to make sure no unwanted germs make themselves at home. Next up, we've got a process called pasteurization. Think of it as giving the juice a warm bath. We pump the juice to a special heater where it warms up slowly to just the right temperature, usually somewhere cozy between 75 and 90 degrees Celsius. We don't just pick this temperature randomly. We follow strict rules and our own recipe for perfection. Once the juice hits this sweet spot, we keep it there for a bit. This time is our secret weapon against any nasty germs hiding in the juice. After this warm bath, it's time to cool off quickly. We don't want our juice getting too comfy at those warm temperatures. Once it's cool and pasteurized, it's back into the chilled tanks to keep it fresh and safe. But wait, there's more. We then give the juice a good mix in a process called homogenization. This isn't just any old stir, it's a fancy way to make sure every sip of our apple juice tastes just the same. We check to make sure it's as clear as a sunny day, tastes just right, and has the perfect color and sweetness. Since we make our juice in October, but you all want it year-round, we store a bunch in our warehouse. That way, we can keep bottling it throughout the year. When it's time to bottle, we pump the juice from our cool tanks to our filling machines. These machines are super precise, filling each container with the exact amount of juice at lightning speed, 100 containers every single minute. That's how we make sure every bottle of our apple juice is just as good as the last. Alright, so here's the final touch in our apple juice journey. We add a dab of hot glue to the containers, just a couple of quick spritzes. This isn't for decoration, it's to keep the straws in place so you can sip without a hitch. Meanwhile, on another part of our busy factory floor, we've got a whole different production line. Here, machines are filling up bottles with our fresh, pasteurized apple juice. And they're fast too, sealing up 120 bottles every single minute. Once these bottles are filled to the brim, we make sure they're sealed super tight. This isn't just to avoid spills, it's to keep any outside nasties out. We're all about keeping that juice fresh and tasty for as long as possible. Next, these bottles take a little trip through our labeling machines. This is where they get their final look, all dressed up and ready for the shelves. After they're packaged and labeled, they're all set to head out to stores and supermarkets. And the best part? Thanks to how well we've preserved this juice, you can enjoy a glass of our apple juice any time of the year, no matter the season. It's always ready for you, just as fresh as the day it was bottled. Thanks for joining us on this juicy adventure, and remember, every sip you take has a whole lot of love and science behind it.